Picture this. You're sitting alone in a quiet room, the faint tap of rain against the window filling the silence. Your coffee's gone cold, but you barely notice. Your mind's too busy replaying every word from that conversation earlier. Did I sound rude? Why did I say it like that? You're the person everyone leans on for advice. The one who's always there to fix problems, to heal hearts, to make the world feel a little kinder. But when the door closes and the lights dim, a different voice takes over. It whispers, "You're not doing enough. You're failing. No one really gets you." Sound familiar? INFJs, you're the quiet heroes of the world. Empaths, visionaries, the ones who see the cracks in the system and want to glue them back together. But here's the truth no one talks about. Your biggest enemy isn't out there. It's the critic in your head, the pressure to be perfect, the habit of putting everyone's needs above your own until you're running on fumes. You're so busy saving others, you forget to save yourself. But what if you could flip the script? What if your sensitivity became your superpower, your idealism a source of strength instead of burnout? This isn't about fixing who you are. It's about breaking free from the traps you built and finally giving yourself the same compassion you pour into the world. Let's start by understanding why INFJs self-sabotage and how to stop it one small step at a time. 1. The INFJ paradox, champions of others, critics of themselves. INFJs are natural caregivers. They spend their lives lifting others up, offering advice, and fighting for causes bigger than themselves. But here's the twist. While they're busy being everyone else's cheerleader, they're often their own worst bully. Imagine working tirelessly to make sure your friend feels confident, but then calling yourself useless for making a tiny mistake. This double standard comes from a deep belief that their value depends on being flawless. INFJs think, if I'm not perfect, how can I help anyone else? They forget that being human, with flaws and all, is what makes their kindness relatable. To stop this cycle, INFJs need to ask, would I judge my best friend this harshly? The answer is always no. 2. The perfectionism trap. When good enough feels like failure, for INFJs, good enough might as well be a dirty phrase. They don't just want to do well, they need to be perfect. A project isn't just finished. It's polished until there's nothing left to improve. A conversation isn't just a chat. It's a performance where every word must land perfectly. This obsession with perfection isn't healthy. It's exhausting. It's like running a marathon with no finish line. The truth? Most people won't notice the tiny flaws INFJs obsess over. That typo in the email? The friend they're texting probably won't care. The solution? Practice doing things at 80% effort. Save the 100% energy for things that truly matter, like a loved one's birthday or a work presentation. For everything else, remind yourself, done is better than perfect. 3. Overthinking Olympics, why INFJs can't turn off their brains. INFJs could win gold medals in overthinking. A simple text message like, okay, can spiral into hours of analysis. Did I upset them? Was my tone wrong? Should I apologize? Their brains replay conversations like a movie, hunting for hidden meanings. The problem? Most of these problems exist only in their heads. That coworker who seemed cold today? Maybe they just had a headache. The friend who canceled plans? It likely has nothing to do with the INFJ. To break free, INFJs need to fact-check their thoughts. Ask, is there real evidence this is true? If not, write down the worry and toss it in the trash. Literally, this physical act tricks the brain into letting go. 4. The savior complex. Rescuing others while drowning yourself. INFJs love fixing things. Broken friendships, unhappy coworkers, global injustice, they want to heal it all. But this superhero mindset comes at a cost. They'll ignore their own needs to save others, like staying up all night counseling a friend while ignoring their own burnout. Over time, this creates resentment. They think, why does no one help me? But here's the hard truth. You can't pour from an empty cup. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's survival. Start small. Say no to one request this week. You'll realize the world doesn't end, and you'll have more energy to help without losing yourself. 5. Idealism versus reality. When high hopes crash into human flaws, INFJs dream of a world where everyone is honest, kind, and fair. But reality, people lie, systems fail. Good intentions don't always win. This gap between their ideals and the real world can crush their spirit. They might grow cynical, thinking, "What's the point?" But giving up isn't the answer. Instead, focus on progress, not perfection. Did a friend apologize after a fight? That's a win. Did a community project help 5 people? Celebrate that. Small steps add up. INFJs need to remember, I can't fix everything, but I can make a difference where I am. 6. The loneliness loop. No one understands me. INFJs crave deep connections but often feel like outsiders. They hide their true selves, fearing judgment, then wonder why they're lonely. It's a trap they set for themselves. For example, an INFJ might love painting but never share their art, thinking, people will think it's weird. But hiding your quirks pushes people away. To break the cycle, share something small and real. Tell a friend about a hobby you've kept secret or admit you're nervous about a new job. You'll be surprised how many people say, "Me too." 7. Emotional sponges. Absorbing stress that isn't yours. Walk into a room, and an INFJ can instantly sense the mood. This intuition is a gift, but it's also draining. They absorb stress from others like a sponge, carrying emotions that aren't theirs. For instance, after a tense family dinner, an INFJ might feel heavy for days, even if the fight had nothing to do with them. To protect their energy, they need to create mental barriers. Visualize an invisible shield around yourself. When you feel someone else's anger or sadness, say silently, "This isn't mine to hold." Shake your hands out like flicking off water to physically release the stress. 8. The fear of success. Why INFJs self-sabotage. Sounds crazy, but INFJs often fear success more than failure. Why? Success means attention, expectations, and the pressure to keep achieving. An INFJ might avoid applying for a promotion, thinking, what if I can't handle it? What if people realize I'm not that special? This fear keeps them stuck. To overcome it, reframe success as growth, not a test. Tell yourself, I don't need to be perfect. I just need to try. Start with low-risk goals like sharing an idea in a meeting. Each small win builds confidence. 9. Neglecting self-care. Putting yourself last on the list. INFJs will cook a feast for a friend's birthday but forget to eat lunch themselves. They'll plan everyone's vacation but never take time off. They call this selflessness, but it's really self-neglect. To change, treat yourself like someone you love. Would you let a friend skip meals or sleep? No. Schedule me time like it's a doctor's appointment, non-negotiable. Even 10 minutes a day for a walk or a cup of tea in silence can recharge you. 10. The comparison game. Why can't I be like everyone else? INFJs often wish they were more outgoing, logical, or carefree. They scroll through social media, thinking, why am I so sensitive? Why can't I just relax? But comparing yourself to others ignores your strengths. That depth of feeling, it lets you connect deeply. That intuition, it helps you see solutions others miss. Instead of fighting who you are, lean into it. Write down 3 things you like about being an INFJ. Read them when self-doubt hits. 11. Breaking free. How to rewire INFJ habits. Change starts with noticing the problem. Keep a journal for 1 week. Every time you criticize yourself or say yes, when you want to say no, write it down. Patterns will emerge. Maybe you're hardest on yourself at work or around family. Once you see the triggers, create a plan. For example, if you over-apologize, replace "I'm sorry" with "Thank you for understanding." Small tweaks add up to big changes over time. 12. The power of small wins. Celebrating progress over perfection. You don't need to transform overnight. Progress is messy. Maybe you set a boundary today but cave tomorrow. That's okay. What matters is keeping going. Celebrate tiny victories. I said no to a favor. I took a lunch break. Write these wins down. Over time, you'll see how far you've come. Remember, a river cuts through rock not by force, but by persistence. Conclusion. From self-enemy to self-ally. INFJs, your heart is your greatest gift, but it's also your biggest challenge. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. You don't need to save everyone to matter. Start by saving yourself. Forgive your mistakes. Protect your energy. Celebrate your quirks. The world needs your light. But first, you need to let it shine.